My name's Olivia. I'm 29 and I live in a cozy apartment in Chicago, working a steady office job that keeps me busy. My family's from a small town in Ohio, the kind with one gas station, a diner where the coffee's always burnt, and nosy neighbors who know your business before you do. Every summer, we have this big family reunion at my parents' farmhouse. Picture picnic tables piled with potato salad, kids running through sprinklers, and my aunts cornering me about my love life. For years, I've brushed off their questions. I'm happy alone, city life's hectic, nobody's caught my eye. But this year, the pressure dialed up. My cousin Emily got engaged, and suddenly every call from mom ended with, "We just want you settled, Liv." I don't know what pushed me over the edge. Maybe it was mom's fifth voicemail about bringing someone special to the reunion. Maybe it was the dread of another weekend dodging pitying smiles. 2 weeks before the event, I did something totally unhinged. I posted an ad on a local gig site. Need a guy to pose as my fiancé for a family reunion. One weekend, $500, must be charming and believable. Serious inquiries only. I thought I'd pick someone decent, fake it for 48 hours, and call it a day. The responses were a mess. One guy sent a blurry selfie with a dog that looked rabid. Another pitched himself as a romantic soul who'd do it for a date. Hard pass. Then came Ethan's email. It was short and to the point. "Hey, Olivia, I'm 31, work in construction, good with people. I can pull this off, no strings attached, $500 fine, can meet to talk details." He attached a photo. Tall, sandy hair, a crooked grin, standing on a job site in a worn flannel. He looked like the guy next door, the kind my family would fawn over. We met at a coffee shop in Logan Square. I was a wreck, stirring my cappuccino to death, half expecting him to be a creep. But Ethan strolled in, shook my hand, and said, "So, what's our meet cute? Gotta make it good." His voice was warm, like we were already in on a secret. We spent an hour building our story. We met at a bookstore, bonded over a dog-eared sci-fi novel, had our first date at a rooftop bar overlooking the skyline. He jotted notes on his phone, asked about my dad's fishing obsession and my aunt's tendency to overshare, and laughed when I said my cousin might challenge him to a drinking game. By the time we parted, I wasn't just relieved, I was excited. This could actually work. The reunion was a 4-hour drive to Ohio. Ethan offered to drive his pickup, saying it'd sell the reliable fiancé vibe. On the road, we rehearsed. "How'd I propose?" he asked, one hand on the wheel, the other tapping the console. I made it up on the spot. A quiet hike in starved rock. Him pretending to tie a shoe, pulling out a ring as the sun set. He nodded, grinning. "Solid. Romantic, but not over the top. Your mom'll eat it up." We swapped stories about our lives. Mine filled with city chaos, his with construction site mishaps. He told me about a time he accidentally demolished a wall he was supposed to repair, and I laughed so hard I snorted. By the time we pulled into my parents' gravel driveway, I almost forgot he was a hired stranger. The farmhouse was chaos, kids chasing fireflies, my uncles arguing over the grill, and mom rushing out in her floral apron, arms wide. "Livy! Oh, and this must be Ethan." She hugged him before he could speak, and he rolled with it, flashing that easy smile. Dad shook his hand, sizing him up like a used car, but Ethan didn't flinch. He complimented the house, asked about Dad's garden, and within 10 minutes they were bonding over heirloom tomatoes. I stood there, stunned. This guy was good. Dinner was a blur of casseroles and questions. My aunts pounced. "How'd you two meet?" Aunt Linda asked, her wine glass tilting dangerously. Ethan leaned back, arm around my chair, and launched into our bookstore story. He added details I hadn't thought of, like how I tripped over a display and he caught me. Everyone cooed. Emily, the newly engaged cousin, demanded proposal details, and Ethan delivered, painting the starved rock scene so vividly I could almost see it. He reached for my hand under the table, his fingers warm, and I didn't pull away. It felt natural. By the bonfire that night, things got intense. My sister Jess pulled me aside, her eyes wide. Liv, he's perfect, like too perfect. Where'd you find this guy? I laughed it off, but my stomach twisted. Ethan was across the yard, teaching my nephew how to roast a marshmallow without setting it on fire. The firelight caught his face, and for a second, I forgot this was fake. Then Mom joined us, tears in her eyes. I've never seen you this happy, Olivia. He's the one. My heart sank. This was supposed to be a one-weekend lie, not a family love fest. Day 2 was worse. Ethan fit in like he'd been coming to these reunions forever. He beat Uncle Mike at cornhole, helped Mom carry dishes, and when my grandma asked about our wedding plans, he didn't miss a beat. We're thinking small, maybe a barn venue, he said, glancing at me like we'd discussed it. Grandma clapped her hands, thrilled. I wanted to scream, "It's not real," but I just smiled, my face aching. That night, we shared a guest room, me on the bed, him on an air mattress. In the dark, I whispered, "You're too good at this." He chuckled softly, "Just doing my job, Lev." But his voice was softer than before, and I couldn't shake the feeling something was shifting. Sunday morning, disaster struck. Mom cornered us at breakfast, her face glowing. "We've been talking and we want to help with the wedding. We'll pay for the venue, the catering, whatever you need." Dad nodded, and my aunts chimed in, already planning a guest list. I froze, my fork halfway to my mouth. Ethan squeezed my knee under the table, jumping in. "That's so generous, but we're taking it slow, you know? Want to enjoy being engaged?" Mom frowned but backed off, and I let out a breath. He'd saved me, but the guilt was crushing. My family was falling for a lie, and I was letting it happen. The drive back to Chicago was quiet. I stared out the window, the Ohio fields blurring past, my mind a mess. Ethan broke the silence. "You okay?" That got heavy back there. I nodded, but tears stung my eyes. "I didn't think they'd get so attached. Now they're planning our fake wedding." He glanced at me, his jaw tight. "Yeah, I didn't expect all that either." He hesitated, then added, "Your family's great, Liv. I get why you didn't want to disappoint them." His words hit hard. I'd hired him to avoid their judgment, but now I was lying to the people I loved most. Back in Chicago, I paid him the $500 plus a $100 tip for being a pro. He pocketed it, lingering at my apartment door. "If you need me to fake a breakup call or something, let me know," he said, half smiling. I laughed, but it felt hollow. "Thanks, Ethan. You were amazing." He nodded, then left, and I closed the door, feeling emptier than ever. I thought that was the end. But a week later, Mom called, gushing about Ethan. "When's he coming to visit? We're thinking of booking a venue for next fall." My stomach dropped. I tried to deflect. "We're not rushing, Mom." But she wasn't having it. "Olivia, he's perfect for you. Don't let him slip away." Jess texted me too, saying she'd never seen me smile like I did with him. Even Grandma mailed me a handwritten note about how Ethan's kind eyes reminded her of Grandpa. I was drowning in their expectations, and I couldn't tell them the truth without breaking their hearts. Then it got weirder. Ethan texted me. "Your mom found me on Facebook. She's asking about our wedding colors." What do I say? I stared at the message, my heart racing. Mom must have hunted him down through my tagged reunion photos. I called him, panicking. "Just tell her we're still figuring it out," I said. He sighed. "Liv, this is getting messy. Maybe we should meet up, sort out a plan." We met at the same coffee shop. He looked different without the fiancé act. No flannel, just a plain t-shirt, his hair messier. "Your family's intense," he said, stirring his coffee. "They're already inviting me to Thanksgiving." I groaned, burying my face in my hands. "I'm so sorry. I didn't mean for this to blow up." He leaned forward, his eyes searching mine. "Why'd you do it, Liv? The fake fiancé thing. You could have just shown up alone." I didn't expect the question, and it hit like a punch. I was tired of feeling like a failure. Everyone's got their perfect lives, and I'm just me. My voice cracked, and I looked away, embarrassed. Ethan didn't say anything for a moment, then reached across the table, his hand brushing mine. You're not a failure. Your family loves you. They just love you a little too loudly. I laughed despite myself, blinking back tears. We came up with a plan. He'd post a vague, "we're taking a break" status on social media, and I'd tell my family we'd mutually parted ways. It'd break their hearts, but it was better than faking a wedding. But as we talked, something shifted. He told me about his life, growing up in a small town like mine, losing his dad young, building things with his hands to feel grounded. I told him about my fear of letting people down, how I moved to Chicago to prove I could make it. The conversation stretched for hours, the coffee shop emptying around us. When we finally stood to leave, he looked at me, his expression softer than I'd ever seen. For what it's worth, Liv, I had fun this weekend, fake fiancé or not. My heart did a weird flip. Yeah, I said, my voice barely above a whisper. Me too. It's been a month since that coffee shop talk. We followed through with the breakup plan, and my family's devastated. Mom cries every time.